2020 Town Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first order of business tonight is our town clerk was unable to come on Monday evening for our swearing-in ceremony, so we will do that right now. Clerk.
You know, which way do you want me to face?
Make sure you, just as long as you have the microphone.
Okay.
Make sure it's the right hand, Carol, don't do what I did.
Raise your right hand. Do you, Carol Haray, solemnly swear that you will uphold the constitutions of the United States, the state of New York, the local laws, ordinances, rules, and regulations of the town of East Fishkill, and that you will, to the best of your abilities, perform the duties of the office of town clerk, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations to our town clerk. Like I said, she was unable to come, but we made sure that she got her flower. Just a few comments. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everybody had nice holidays. I hope you spent some quality time with your families and your loved ones. This year is going to be busy already. I could see it. It's been busy the last week, that's for sure. Start off, I've been meeting with several different companies and investors who are looking to purchase the former IBM West Campus on Route 52, and also some different companies looking to purchase the current Dome site. Many people have been asking about the Dome site. Apparently, from what I gather, they're having some financial difficulties on finishing the project. They claim they have over $20 million already invested in that site, and they need several $1 million more to complete it. So they are at a standstill, as people see and people talk, and I got many calls and emails about that. But there are several entities looking to, continue it, to build it as a dome for sports, and other entities looking to not do it for that, use it for something else. Also, a few companies are coming to look at behind there, like I said, the former IBM West Campus, and they are looking to possibly purchase the Dome site and that back property. So something has been simmering. Things are going to be happening soon. The town board's been working very hard. Our economic development committee has been working very hard on trying to lure businesses here to East Fishkill to try and finish that project for the Dome and to build something new on the West Campus and for other sites in our town. It's important not just for one specific area of town, but for the whole town as a whole. Not only do we see our tax our tax base increase, but also it can lead to potential no tax increases in the future, depending on what kind of rateable gets built over there. Also, it means more people moving to East Fishkill to buy up homes that are currently vacant. Those are more people to shop in our local businesses. And also, these projects help with traffic problems and other infrastructure needs that the town is always looking to try to correct. So it has a compound effect on our town in a very, very positive way. Also, there's new projects that they have come to me. They have really look at different traffic scenarios in town, because the town board, as I mentioned, last town board meeting, we have a moratorium on the Route 52 corridor from the Taconic State Parkway to Blue Hill Road. That is a major traffic congestion over there, and also we have some water and sewer infrastructure problems that we're trying to address. The town board is going to enter into an agreement with some people to do some studies for traffic and for water and sewer and planning down that road. and I want the town board's permission to engage with Dutchess County Planning that they can help lead us in an independent committee made up of members of our community to review our housing needs in the town. There's been many projects coming forward now looking into our town to do different housing projects, so I want to make sure that the town is not going to be overdeveloped. I want to make sure that the town is going to grow in a smart way and address all the problems that we have. So I'm going to be discussing more with the town board, but I'm hoping we could put together an independent committee. Maybe each town board member could suggest a member of the public, one of our citizens of East Fishkill, to sit on this committee, and we can have Dutchess County Planning run the whole thing. So as we get further into this, I will be discussing this more and be putting postings on Channel 22. And also, anybody interested, please contact any of us board members here, contact my office so we can get started with this. It's very important to do so. A few weeks ago, I met with some members of the Lomala community. They have a civic center over there, which they rent out to community, different community members for events, parties, and meetings, whatever they want. It's been a few people that have been managing the management of the rentals and also the upkeep of the building. Well, there's not a lot of people in that community anymore that want to do that, so they came to the town to see if we can help assist them, and of course we can. Just so everybody knows, that is a separate park district, so any help that the town does give, that gets charged directly to that park district, and the members of the rest of the community don't have to pay for that. But as I said, they are a volunteer community to help run that civic center that they have. It's a really beautiful building if anybody has ever not seen it. It's right in Lomala, and they rent it out for if you want to have, communions or parties or graduations, whatever. If you're interested, please contact members of our rec director, Jan McHugh. She will get you in contact with who does those rentals. So thank you for the people to come down and talk with us, and thank you to the staff members who are looking to help assist with this, because it's just more work to do, and it's less people to do more work, just like everything else. Several weeks ago, Councilman Marinaro and I had a meeting at the police station. It's for our usual monthly police meeting. As most people know, our chief, Matt Orsino, and Lieutenant John Wood, they retired on December 30th. I had a press release put out last week congratulating them on their years of service. The whole town board wishes them well and wishes their families well for the future. The town board has 2 proclamations tonight one for each of them. And unfortunately, they were not able to join us, but the town board will make sure that they get them. We'll either send it to them, or we could try to get them back here so we can present them with the proclamations. They did a wonderful service to our community. They were an asset. We will be missing them, and we do wish them well. They were a tremendous asset here, like I said. But the town board has now been charged with finding a new police chief. Tonight we have a resolution to appoint a acting chief, and I'm sure that will take place very soon. We do appreciate Lieutenant Bellino for stepping up, and he's been the officer in charge since December 31st. We have a lot of challenges going on at the police department, as all police departments are going through right now. New York State passed a new bail reform law that has been enacted, and there's going to be some difficulties with it. So the town board is here to provide as much help as we can for our police department to make sure that they're successful, that we're successful, and that this new New York State law changes won't affect us that much. But thank you to everybody involved, and we are here to help you. On the 30th, I attended Sheriff Butch Anderson's swearing-in ceremony in Wappingers. It was a great event. Everybody knows the sheriff's very popular. He had over 250 people attend the event. He does a really great job. He's one of a kind, our sheriff. He's always offering his support to our community. So I just like to congratulate him on his reelection. Also on the 4th, I attended another swearing-in ceremony in the town of Wappinger for their supervisor and all their elected officials. They had it at the Wappingers Junior High School. It was a really nice event, big event, I mean, really big event. They had singers, they had guest speakers, they had a huge lunch to follow. It was really something. But it's very important for us to support our local elected officials, not only in our town, but in our surrounding towns, because we do help each other. We help each other when it comes to if our highways need equipment, or we need to share a grant writer, whatever it is that we can save money and we help each other, we do so. So I congratulate all the elected officials that got reelected. It was a really nice event. Thank you for having me there. Also, this past Monday, we had our very own swearing-in ceremony. It was a packed house. We had it right here in our town hall. About over 100 people attended. The sheriff was here as well. He led us in the pledge. Many elected officials throughout the county also attended. The pastor of St. Columba Church, Father Mike McLaughlin, he came. He gave a beautiful invocation for all those getting sworn in. Thank you to him. And the whole town board was there as well. So thank you all that came out and all the residents that came out to support. Appreciate it. Also, a big thank you to many businesses. They donated a lot of goodies for that event. Hopewell Hot Bagels, Twilight Florist, Star Printing, Tiramisu, East Fishkill Provisions, and Pastry Garden. They really brought a tremendous amount of food here, and for all the guests that came, it was really nice. So thank you very much. And if anybody hasn't seen it, it is playing on Channel 22 for the rest of the month, so please check it out. On Sunday, myself and the deputy supervisor and Councilman Marinaro, we attended a beautiful ceremony at St. Columba Church. They installed a new bishop, Gerardo Colachico. He was the longtime pastor of St. Columba Church for many years. And a few months ago in October, the Pope appointed him to his bishop post, and he will oversee Dutchess, Sullivan, Ulster, Orange counties for the New York State Archdiocese. We wish him the best of luck, and we're happy to see him get this important position. He was a tremendous pastor here for St. Columba for many years. As everybody knows, the EPA is coming close to the completion of the Hopewell North Water District. I just want to let a handful of people know that have opted out not to get this water service. It's a fantastic opportunity. Please think about it again. If you want to change your mind, it's not a problem. Just call my office and let me know, and we will get you involved in the hookups, because now the next few months are going to be starting the hookups, and I would hate to see anybody pass up this opportunity, because once it passes, then if you want to join into that system again, it's going to cost you money out of your own pocket. Right now, the EPA is paying for all the hookups. So please contact my office if you have a change of heart. Worley Homes, just a small update for them. There's not much to report, unfortunately. It still is in the hands of the Public Service Commission. Once they have completed their review, they have to give approval for the sale of the system. Then the town can move in and do the changes and plans that we have for that system. We've been in contact with the Public Service Commission, and they're not complete of their review yet, correct, Tom? That's correct. So once we hear more, we will let you know. We'll have another meeting here to re-update everybody about that, because it has been a long time. Unfortunately, some government entities work slowly, very slowly. Also, another thing I'd like to discuss, for many years, a long time, a lot of people have been talking about the cable provider in our town. I want to clear up any confusion here. So as everybody knows, there is unfortunately, we have kind of a monopoly here in East Fishkill. Cablevision is the sole cable provider, and that's because years ago, when there was infrastructure for communication in this town, a company called Sylvan Lake Telephone, they did the original communication lines. They owned them. Then, in the early 90s, cable was starting to get more available, and Cablevision came into our town, and they spent the money to put in the infrastructure for themselves into mostly, I think 70% of the town has Cablevision. The rest have multiple users. But Cablevision spent the money to do the infrastructure that was needed, and this is the reason why we don't have another provider. The town is not the one to say not to come here. The town wants other companies to come here and provide cable. We would love to have them, but they have to put money into the infrastructure. Perhaps the town board can even go as far as next month, maybe we could put forth a resolution inviting other companies, inviting other providers to come here so we can have more of a choice. We would love to have that, but it is a significant cost to them. That is the reasons why they don't come here, BIOS and other companies as well. Also, I'd like to mention, as everyone can see, we're starting renovations here in our big room. That's what we call it, the meeting room, our courtroom. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time we've been doing our town hall renovations. I'm waiting approval of a grant application. We made a grant application to the New York State Unified Court System for the JCAP grant, which is the Justice Court Assistance Program. We qualify for that because this room is our courtroom. The 2019-2020 grant cycle, that's the one we put in for, and we could get awarded up to $30,000, which is tremendous. It would pay for the entire project. So if we get that, I'm ecstatic. But if we get some of it, it just defrays the cost that we are paying for it. I'd like to thank Ken Williams, our highway superintendent, a lot of the highway guys, Butch Kidney and his crew. They've been doing a tremendous job here. They've been doing most of the work in Town Hall. They did all this work. They're going to do a lot more work. It saves us a tremendous amount of money. That's why I was able to do more and more, because the budget I had was just stretched long because we were saving dollars with manpower. So thank you to them. And thank you to all the residents for being very patient as we do all these renovations. And with that, Town Clerk, you call the roll.
Councilperson Cassidy?
Present.
Councilman Franco?
Present.
Councilman Marinaro?
Present.
Councilman Beepin?
Present.
Supervisor D'Alessandro?
Present, thank you. Everybody received the December 12, 2019 minutes? And Clerk, were there any changes, alterations,
No.
additions? No. Do I have a motion to approve the December 12, 2019 minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. No additions tonight. Courtesy of the floor, this is the part of the meeting where anybody could come up to the podium, speak about any general town issues, anything on the agenda, anything at all. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John, and I'm a longtime resident of Hopewell. Been here over 30 years. Nick, you must be very intuitive, because that was part of my question in terms of Cablevision. I'm here to, I've recently retired, and that has afforded me several blessings, one of which is to spend time with my family, travel, my grandkids, that kind of thing. However, it also presents a challenge for me. That challenge is trying to exist on a fixed income. To that end, I'm trying to rein in my expenses. In so doing, I've looked at Cablevision. I've been here over 30 years, and the only choices I have are Cablevision, DirecTV, or Frontier, okay? And when I reached out to Cablevision, they said I can lower my requirements on my cable TV service. They'll keep that involved or in place for a year or two, and then they'll raise it back up. So right now, between phone, cable, phone, and TV, as well as internet, I'm paying like over $200, okay? So I'm looking for some resource to try to rein that in. And I'm hopeful that competition will do that. Now, as you mentioned before, that the infrastructure I didn't realize was a very cost-prohibitive kind of thing for other providers. Is there anything, a resolution like you mentioned before would be quite helpful, I would think, But is there anything else we can do, or someone might be able to suggest that we can get further cable competition within the hamlet of Hopewell?
That's why I made the comments. We've been thinking about that. I discussed with the attorney this past week also. Is there anything we can do more to lure them here? The problem is, they're in the surrounding communities, and for some reason, they didn't come into East Fishkill all those years ago to put the infrastructure in. And now, for them to come back and do that, we have basically, with all residential and commercial parcels in town, about 12,000, right, Kathy? We have about 12,000 parcels in town. So you have 12,000 parcels that they'd have to give service to, and the rate of their return might not be enough.
Oh. Now, a friend that I used to commute to work with down in Pleasantville, New York, she lives in Wappingers, I think, and they are able to have Fios. So I'm not sure, I'm quite sure they had Cablevision also.
Yes.
So if their infrastructure was able to be looked at and
Could I,
addressed.
Yes, absolutely, thank you.
Sure, I can explain it to you. What happened years ago, I happen to remember some of this stuff, but Verizon service area does not include most of the town of East Fishkill. So Verizon takes care of the Wikipe area and then up in the mountain on Holmes. So Verizon, over the last few years, has developed Fios, and they've added that into their existing infrastructure and became a competitor to cable. We here in East Fishkill, as the supervisor said, about 70% of the town is serviced by formerly the Sylvan Lake Phone Company, now Frontier. Their answer to internet is what they offer, and cable, and they combine it with Dish TV, and that's that's what they feel serves that area. So the cable, when Cablevision came in the late 80s, early 90s, they had no competition either by Verizon or by Frontier. So while Verizon has changed their service to the communities that they were in, they have no desire to expand here because they have no infrastructure at all, and it'd be a complete new build. So it's really a matter of economics for the company.
So if they could get past the economics, then you guys would be willing to allow them to come in?
Under New York state law, we have to allow any cable company to come in. We give them what's known as a franchise agreement, which just gives them permission to use the public right-of-way for their wires, either under them or on the poles. And then they work out in agreements with the other utilities that own the poles to run their cables and wires. And our existing contract with Cablevision says we can do that, but we just have to give it the same terms, so everybody be on the same level playing field. So we're doing nothing to block anyone else from coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll let you know if anything comes about, but next month, I'm sure that we'll put forth a resolution inviting other companies, and hopefully it can stir something, hopefully. Anybody else wish to speak on no, Bob, no, not you, Bob.
On that note, about the Cablevision, is there anything that the town can offer them an incentive, somebody that wants to come in? Is there anything that the town could offer that would make it more appealing, or?
No, I think we'd have to,
For everybody.
that means we'd have to go back and retroactively give Cablevision any kind of,
Always has to be the
Incentives.
same.
Huh?
Whatever you do for one, you have to do
Okay.
for the other. Yeah.
Thank you. The other thing that I wanted to mention is about the hemp farms that are popping up in our
we have a
neighborhood.
resolution tonight.
Sorry?
We have a resolution tonight.
Okay, but this is more to appeal to the people that might be watching. And I would just like them to know that maybe 1 acre might bring $20,000. Somebody that's growing hemp, maybe 1 acre could bring $20,000 to the farmer, hemp farmer. And at that rate, I don't think there's gonna be too many people looking to grow corn or any other vegetables. And, you know, it's in our backyard. And if the people don't get involved, they're gonna be popping up all over the place, and it's gonna be too late. So I'm suggesting that the people get involved as much as they can and have some say about it, and maybe we could prevent this from ruining our, lives, our neighborhoods, and, that's it. Thank you.
So, just so you know, Bob, I don't know if you saw online the agenda. We have a resolution tonight to request a review by the Commissioner of Agriculture on the hemp farms for the farms that are in residential areas, so.
Can they be influenced? Can they be influenced by anybody calling them?
I'm
or-
sure, just like anything else,
Well,
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
basically what I'm trying to
Right.
get across, is if they get enough phone calls, it might mean something more than just, hearing it from the town board.
Right, this was a special, I guess they get a special permit or something. It was a pilot program that the
program,
state
yeah.
did. And I think there was like 1,400 permits given throughout the whole state to grow, so, but most of them, I believe, are in much more rural areas than
Yeah,
East
yeah.
Fishkill or Dutchess County.
Where they probably belong.
Right,
rather
where they
than in
probably
somebody's
belong,
backyard.
exactly. So I don't think they thought it may be possibly all the way through, just like the bail reform. So, maybe they have to go back and they have to review it again.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know some of these people that have some of these farms don't even live here. So they don't have to smell the stink that, it's very putrid smelling.
Now we understand.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Yeah. Anybody else wish to speak on any general town issues or anything on the agenda? No? Okay, with that, nothing for receipt and file. Resolutions, we got a lot of them tonight. So I'm gonna change the order here because we have some people here for one of them, so, number 17, appoint the acting police chief. Councilman Franco, would you read that?
Sure. Whereas Matthew Orsino retired as chief of police, and whereas there currently is no civil service list for chief, and the next test will be in March. Whereas the board needs to provide for continuity of management and leadership within the police department. Therefore be it resolved that Lieutenant Christopher Bellino being hereby is appointed as acting chief of police on a provisional basis and shall continue in such position at the pleasure of the town board. Be it further resolved that the acting chief will be paid $137,500 and shall receive such other benefits as set forth within his employment agreement.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to appoint Christopher Bellino as acting chief of police? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Well, as everybody knows, we have a vacancy, and we're very thankful for Lieutenant for stepping forward, and he's going to do a great job. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations.
He did turn his badge up early, though, sign.
Well, it's nice to see you got a lot of support,
Yes.
Chief.
They're all leaving. Now they're all going back to work.
Okay, Resolution 1, confirm the receipt and appointment of deputy supervisor and secretary to the supervisor. So, as supervisor, I get to appoint who I like to see as deputy supervisor and my confidential secretary as well. I would love to request for our deputy supervisor, Peter Cassidy, to continue in that role, and my secretary, Gina Grippo, as well. Do I have a motion to appoint Peter Cassidy as deputy supervisor and Gina Grippo to my personal secretary?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? They, both of them, Peter, you do a great job. Gina does a tremendous job, more better than you, Peter. She does a lot of work. I'm very thankful to her. I can't stress that enough. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Peter. All right, number 2. Reappointments. So this is our reorganization meeting, and we do a lot of reappointments. And we're going to, 2A will be cut from that, though. Okay, we will do that at another time. So appointments of shared services for our town planner. Michelle Robbins is our town planner. We share her with the town of Cortland. We get her on a 2/5 basis a week. They pay her, we pay them back for the time that we use her for. Continuing share service of our town assessor as well. We share with the city of Beacon, our town assessor, and the way that works is we pay her and Beacon recompensates us for the time they use her. And what else is there? 2D. Renew the Registrar of Vital Statistics, our town clerk, Carol Horay. She is our Registrar of Vital Statistics. And the clerk is always the Registrar of Vital Statistics, is that correct? And that's it for that. So do I have a motion to renew the planner, assessor, and Carol as the town clerk as the Registrar of Vital Statistics?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 3 is banking. First is to designate the official depositories of the town. Town board must authorize the financial depositories of the town. The town controller has recommended that Tompkins Mayapack Bench continue as the principal depository of the town. And also authorizing various signatories to town accounts. The town board has previously designated official depositories of the town, like Mayapack Bank. Under town law, myself, the supervisor, is authorized signer of said accounts. The town law also authorizes the town board to establish alternate signers in absence of the supervisor. We are asking the Deputy Supervisor Peter Cassie to be an authorized signer on said accounts in accordance with the law in absence of inability of myself, the supervisor, to sign. The town board does hereby continue to require all checks in excess of $500,000 be countersigned by our town clerk, Carol Horay, which is also the Registrar of Vital Statistics.
That's right.
Do I have a motion to designate the official depositories of the town and the various signatories to town accounts?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
So, Tom,
I'm sorry.
in case the town supervisor and the assistant supervisor are not around,
We're in trouble.
who
And we
supposed
get
to
to have
sign
a
those
resolution.
checks?
The law allows the deputy to do it. I mean, if, in that case, if they were going to be both out of town, the supervisor could designate another deputy. But that deputy would serve without salary,
Okay.
okay?
I've been there for 10 years, I've signed 2 checks.
So we can have you, we can have your wife, Peter, be the second deputy then. She tells you what to do anyway. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Official newspaper of the town. Do I have a motion to appoint Southern Dutchess News as the newspaper of East Fishkill, their official newspaper, excuse me, thank you. Move, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, retaining consultants. First is consulting engineer services. The town has previously selected Clark Patterson Lee, architecture, engineering, planning as the consulting engineer for East Fishkill. And also engineering services of Renia Engineering Design. The town board is desired to continue their services with CPL, Clark Patterson Lee, and Renia Engineering Design. Also to reappoint Hudson Valley Engineering as the official town traffic consultant, bless you.
Thank you.
Also extend a contract for a hydrogeologist, Leggett, Bergiers and Graham, LBG, is hereby authorized by the town board to be our hydrologist. Hydrogeologist, thank you. Also authorizing stormwater consultant. Town has previously selected stormwater management consultants to prepare our MS4 annual reports with respect to the MS4 permit and requirements of New York State. Do I have a motion to authorize our engineering, traffic, hydrogeologists, and stormwater consultants?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 6, board chairpersons and members of various boards, councils. Every year, we do choose the chairpersons for each board. And I'd like to make a mention of our planning board. We are going to have a change. Mr. Craig Smith, we're have a motion here to appoint him as the chair of our planning board. Lori G., she has done a wonderful job. The town board thanks her for her many years that she has sat as chair of the planning board. She brought a lot of good to our town, and she is a very, very intelligent and thoughtful person who has donated many, many hours of her time to our town. And we're thankful, and we're also thankful that she is going to remain on our board. She will be a board member, she just won't be the chair. And also, I'd like to read the rest of them. Craig Smith for Planning Board, Norma Drummond for Zoning Board, Brent Feldwig for our Conservation Advisory Council, Paul Pezzavento, our Architectural Review Council, Mike Keiser, Recreation Board, Deborah McCaffrey, Ethics Board, Thomas Tobe, our Board of Assessment Review, David Palin for our Fire Advisory Board. Do I have a motion to authorize these chairpersons and members of various councils?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Designation of liaisons. So, also as town supervisor, on an annual basis or biannual basis, I could pick our town board members to be liaisons to certain departments in town. And this is what I have come forward with. Councilman Deputy Supervisor Cassie for Emergency Services, Councilman Franco to the Police Department, Councilman Marinaro to the Highway Department, Councilman Beepan to the Recreation Department. Do I have a motion to confirm these designations?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The discussion. Thank you, Board, for all your work and that you've been doing the last 2 years in your liaison roles, and thank you to accept these new positions. I think it's important that the board does mix it up and get into different departments, so, we don't just oversee one department, we see everything as a board, so I think it's important that we do mix it up, so. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 8, authorized supervisor for personal services. Councilman, Deputy Supervisor, would you read that?
Authorizing the supervisor to sign personal service agreements within budgetary lines, whereas the personal service agreements that are budgeted and require the town's signature, and whereas the town board is authorized to the supervisor to sign any personal agreements, now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute all personnel agreements budgeted in 2020.
Thank you, Deputy Supervisor. Do I have a motion to authorize me, the supervisor, to sign personal service agreements within budgetary lines?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 9, insurance brokers. Councilman Franco?
Designate insurance brokers of record for calendar year 2020, whereas the town board on an annual basis needs to maintain insurance for coverage for the town, and it is the desire of the town board to designate town brokers of record. Now therefore be it resolved that Spain Agency be and hereby are designated as the town's brokers of record for commercial coverage and workers' compensation. Now therefore be it resolved that Dutchess County Agent be and hereby is designated as the town's broker of record for health insurance. Be it further resolved that Marshall and Sterling be and hereby is designated as the town's insurance broker of record with respect to the town's disability insurance.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to designate these insurance brokers of record?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 10, Association of Towns. Councilman Marinaro, would you read that?
Authorizing the attendance at the Association of Towns for various town officials. Whereas the Association of Towns of the State of New York, of which the town of East Fishkill is a member, conducts their annual meeting and training sessions on February 16, 2020 to February 19, 2020. And whereas by town law, officers and official of the town are authorized to attend said functions. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board, those hereby authorized officials and employees as approved by the town supervisors, to attend the Association of the State of New York annual meeting on February 16, 2020 to February 19, 2020. And be further resolved that one voting member is hereby designated as the official voting delegate of the town of East Fishkill. And be further resolved that the 2020 membership of the town is approved.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize the attendance at the AOT?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 11, supervisor to sign the IMAs, Councilman Beepan?
Whereas the supervisor signs intermunicipal agreements and contracts annually for services with agencies as budgeted, and whereas the town board is asked to authorize the supervisor to sign all intermunicipal agreements and contracts that are in the 2020 budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute all intermunicipal agreements and contracts for services with agencies as budgeted in 2020.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign all IMAs?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 12, authorize supervisor to refund fees and building and planning, deputy supervisor?
Whereas from time to time applicants apply to the planning and zoning boards and pay their requisite application fees, and whereas sometimes they later decide not to pursue the application, or in an alternative, they realize they cannot make the modifications proposed, and request their application fee to be refunded. Whereas there are other situations where certain equity would provide that the town modify the existing fee and give credit to prior fees. Now therefore it be resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to refund fees on withdrawn building and planning permits and to modify building fees where necessary in amounts not to exceed $1,000 without the further approval of the town board. Be it further resolved that said adjustments shall reflect retaining sufficient funds to cover any town expenses incurred up to the point of the withdrawal.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize supervisor to refund fees in building and planning?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. 13, authorize emergency repairs for Revere Park. Councilman Franco?
Whereas the Revere Park Water District has exceeded the recommended limits for iron and manganese, whereas the State Health Department has approved an interim connection to Fishkill Plains Water District. Now therefore be it resolved that the town must declare an emergency at the Revere Park and will solicit a minimum of 3 quotes for the new project. Be it further resolved that the town engineer memo and Dutchess County Board of Health certified letter are hereby attached to detail the recommendations for such district.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize emergency repairs for Revere Park?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? This is a long time coming. We're in process of working with Board of Health to alleviate the situation, and this will just help the matters. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 14, set a hearing, Councilman Marinaro, would you read that?
Authorizing a hearing on an unsafe structures, whereas the town board is vested with the power to declare certain structures unsafe in accordance with the law, and whereas the town engineer has recommended that the town board consider condemnation actions on an unsafe structure at 2 Osner Road, as per his attached memo. And whereas it is now the recommendation of the town supervisor that the board authorize a hearing regarding unsafe structures proceedings, and be it further resolved that the town board will conduct a hearing regarding the above named structure on February 13, 2020.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize hearing on unsafe structure?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Well, we're trying to, as people watch this and know, we're trying to do this all around town. We're trying to clean up these as best as possible. We get a lot of complaints on these type of buildings, so we're doing our best. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 15, setting our fees. Councilman Beepan, would you read that?
Whereas the town board from time to time reviews all fees charged by the various departments of the town, whereas a current fee schedule has been requested for the recreation department, building department, planning and zoning department, and the town clerk's office. Now therefore be it resolved that the annex list of fees shall be established for the calendar year 2020 as the fees to be changed for the above-named departments, and be it further resolved that the town board approves the attached list of fees for 2020.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize set our fees for 2020?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So, every year we try to review our fees. This year, we are adding a new fee, our industrial fee schedule, a new schedule to our fees. We never had an industrial fee schedule before, but it is important. We do have industrial areas in the town, and they require a lot of work. A lot of time from our engineering staff, a lot of time from our building department, a lot of time from our attorney, from our control, everybody. It takes a lot of time to do those. It's not like your house or something else, simple, fit-ups or constructions. This is very, very detailed information that we have to look at. So we have set an industrial fee schedule as well, and a few commercial fees we had to increase as well, but not that many for the most part. Everybody has reviewed these fees. I also want to make a mention that in the coming months, I'd like to propose to the town board to present maybe a new law we could do, because some of these industrial fees, they can be high because it depends on if they build a 1 million square feet building or something like that. But in that case, or other cases, we could possibly pass a law where the town board can review that fee and work with the applicant, work with the company who wants to do this proposed project, and maybe in lieu of the fee, they could do some betterment for the community, traffic improvements. I don't know, maybe possibly, I guess we could get more into detail when we have the public hearing for the law, but possibly can they do buildings and other such, Tom, for community benefit?
Yes.
So, there's lots of things that they can do. So I'm going to propose that for maybe a few months, we propose a new law like that. So the town board has the option to look at, instead of collecting the fee, having a like-kind improvement in town. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Any comments on the fees or anything else for anybody? No, do I have a motion and a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 16, resolution to oppose the MTA parking fare increases. If I let you read it, you're gonna read the whole thing?
No.
I don't want to read that whole thing.
Just say we oppose it.
Go ahead, Deputy Supervisor.
God, 2 pages. Must
be a Yeah.
tired lawyer.
Do you want me to do it? So, no?
Unless you ever read your life.
Whereas
You just
Metro
start with the
MTA
result.
has announced it is considering increasing parking fees at 25 parking facilities, and where many residents in the town of East Fishkill depend on these train services. Whereas the MTA is proposing parking fare increases on both Beaking and New Hamburg stations, going up from $3.50 to $4.25 for the most part. And whereas the MTA is proposing parking charge for Saturday parking. Whereas it is approved by the MTA, would take effect on January 1st, 2020. Whereas the MTA's area of service includes the town of East Fishkill, the proposed parking increase will cause unnecessary financial hardship. Whereas if improved, the proposed MTA fare increase will increase significantly the daily two-way traffic moving along the town to those stations. And because fewer people would be forced to pay these increased fees, thereby requiring them to drop off and pick up stations. And whereas the proposed fare increases will impact significantly on the environment of increasing level of traffic and congestion, now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of East Fishkill, in its capacity as governing body of the town, does hereby oppose the fare increase. Be it further resolved that copy will be sent to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Supervisor. Not only that, the town clerk will make sure that the MTA board, the governor, our Senator Sue Serino, our Assemblyman Kieran Lawler, all receive this, and all the chief executives of the surrounding municipalities as well, to know that we are opposed to the parking fare increases at those two train stations. You know, as a small local government, just like the rest of our surrounding municipalities, we have to tighten our belt. Why shouldn't they have to tighten their belt? We can't always go to the public and say, you have to fund it, you gotta pay for more. So, that's our stand. Do I have a motion to, declare the opposition to the pending fee increases?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion from anyone?
No, the MTA is garbage, quite frankly. They waste more money, and they're constantly turning back to the taxpayer. They're one of the worst-run organizations in all of the country. It's just, it's terrible. I can't vote yes enough for this.
Tell us how you really feel.
No, it's terrible. They're awful. They waste so much money, constantly. They'll put in new buildings, and then they'll just destroy them because they're not going to be used. They're awful.
So moved. Second.
I think we have a motion in a
think so,
second.
yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. At 17, we did the acting police chief. 18, okay. Authorize the Dutchess County ASPCA contract. Councilman Marinaro, would you read that?
Whereas the town of East Fishkill is charged with animal control within its boundaries, and whereas it is necessary for the town to have a proper shelter for any dogs seized by it, and now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute a contract for calendar year 2020 with the Dutchess County ASPCA, providing for the care of seized dogs, and be further resolved that the town shall be reimbursed by any dog owner the sum of $70 fee for the seizure of any unlicensed or stray dogs.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize a 2020 contract with the Dutchess County ASPCA?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
How many animals do we have? We catch some, I mean,
Oh, yeah, we
there's
do.
not too many, right?
There's not too many, but,
We
I wish
pretty-
there was
we
someone
take-
somewhere
we take
else to go.
Pretty good care of our pets already.
I do.
Carol takes the best
I
care.
take the best care.
She doesn't walk it every day for lunch.
No.
No, that's what I do.
Part of the job description, town supervisor, for the last 12 years.
Oh, that's true, the former
True.
supervisor. the-
Another title for
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 19, as everybody knows, our chief of police, Matthew Orsino, and our Lieutenant John Wood recently retired from the police department. It's customary for them to retain their service weapon. This authorized me, the supervisor, to authorize to transfer those weapons to the retirees. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, last. Request New York State Commissioner of Agriculture to review hemp farms. Councilman Beepan.
Are you sure Bobby shouldn't be reading this?
Oh, you are the hemp farm over there,
Could be named
Master.
after Bobby, though.
Yeah, the Bobby Act.
The Bobby resolution.
Bobby
Bobby's
resolution.
Grasso resolution.
Whereas certain properties within the town are within Dutchess County Agricultural District, whereas properties within the agricultural district are not subject to full town regulation under zoning and other town laws, whereas commencing the 2019 Commissioner of Agricultural issued licenses to certain property owners within the agricultural districts, allowing them to grow hemp, whereas hemp emits a foul odor during its growing cycle, which I can attest to. Whereas in East Fishkill and adjoining towns, the crops were planted in a close proximity to private residences, causing a public nuisance due to the foul odor. Whereas the growing of hemp in more populated areas should be subject to restriction to prevent causing discomfort to adjoining neighbors. whereas many residents have filed complaints with the town. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby requests the New York State Commissioner of Agriculture and the Health Commissioner to review the regulations allowing hemp crops and modify the same to locate crops so that the odor emitted does not impact adjoining residential properties. Now be it further resolved that the town clerk transmit a certified copy of this resolution to aforesaid commissioners as well as the governor and local legislative representatives.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to forward this request to New York State Commissioner of Agriculture?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. No additions to the agenda, no budget transfers, town board member comments. That's okay, Councilman. We have the correct one to send forward. Councilman Bevan?
Today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. On behalf of all of us, we just thank you for your service. Lieutenant Bellino, please let the guys know that, Chief Bellino, sorry. Please let the guys know we appreciate everything they do for us. Will do. Town. Thank you.
Just quickly, I'd like to thank the Recreation Department, working with all of them over the last 6 years. Jan McHugh, Bill Green, Butch Kidney, Mike Keiser, and the rest of the Rec Advisory Board. I thought we made a lot of great strides, and I look forward to working with them every month. So, Councilman Bepan, good luck with them. You'll have a lot of fun. And Chief, I look very much forward to working with you. It's an honor to be part of this, to overseeing this great police department. So, thank you.
Councilman?
So I want you guys to know that tonight, the highway superintendent is not here. He left me a list stuff to read. so-
Already, see? You're already in your
First thing does is
your
look at
buddy.
Carol.
liaison reports, you see?
So, anyway, first of all, I like to congratulate my colleagues on the town board and the town supervisor for their continued success in the years to come. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Our local fire department is still looking for volunteers to serve in all sectors of the fire department. Please, no matter what age, they could use our help, they could use your help. So I will continue to send out this message to the community. At this time, I also like to take the opportunity to thank two gentlemen, Chief of the Police Matt Orsino, past Chief of the Police Matt Orsino, and Lieutenant John Wood, for their devoted services to our local community. Two very dedicated and professional individuals who I had the pleasure to work with through the last few years as a liaison to the police department. Due to unexpected circumstances beyond our control, the chief and the lieutenant had decided to retire at this time. I personally think that Matt and John have been instrumental in restructuring and reshaping our police department. They will be missed for sure, but at the same time, I would like to assure our community that they have left behind a police department capable to take care of any future challenges. I'd like to wish Chief Orsino and Lieutenant Wood a great retirement with their families. I'd like to thank also the town supervisors for putting the trust in me to serve as a liaison of the highway department. I will work very diligent and hard together with the highway superintendent and the whole department to serve our community with dignity and honesty. And this is the report from the highway department. Although we've had a few ice storms to contend with, we have been rather fortunate with the winter so far. We have been restocking salt and sand for our sheds, checking plow runs and repairing potholes, restructuring damaged catch basin, completing tree work in various areas of the town, including Stormville Mountain Road, Asner Mountain Road, and Blue Hill Road. Our parks crews did a great job assisting the Recreation Department with the town's annual holiday tree lighting ceremony. Our holiday wreaths have been taken down and put into storage. We've been working on the renovation of the courtroom here at Town Hall. We have had a crew assisting with the renovation at Red Wing Park, as well as clearing trees Land Kill Road to prepare for the constructions of the new garage. Our mechanics have continued to perform routine maintenance on both the highway and police vehicle. Now that the winter season is upon us, we would like to take the opportunity to remind our residents. Winter parking restrictions are in effect. Please do not leave a parked vehicle on town roads, particularly during snow or icy events. Doing so will hinder our ability to clear our roadways. It goes on, New York State law prohibits residents from removing snow from private property and depositing it on public roads. If placing garbage cans out for pickup during a storm, place cans in a shoveled space at the end of your driveway, not on the road. Our plow drivers do their best to clear our roads in a safely and timely manner. Please be mindful that we have over 200 miles of town road to maintain. Please remember to be patient and stay off the road, if at all possible, during the winter storms. Our drivers and the highway department thanks the community.
Thank you, Councilman. The highway superintendent owes you lunch for reading all that. It's the least he could do.
Bottle of wine, you said.
Right?
Deputy Supervisor.
He never wrote that much the whole year I had him.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't give him a pen. He didn't write that either. I'd just like to thank Matt and John, who, it's funny, they came after me and they got to retire before me. True. I'd like to congratulate Chris Bellino. I know he'll do a great job, and I just would like to wish everybody a happy new year. And you wrote enough resolutions, we're done.
Okay, before I make just a few comments, Chief Bellino, would you like to give us a little report? I know there's been some concerns lately in town about a few things.
Recently, we've had several burglaries throughout southern Dutchess County, 3 of which have been within the town of East Fishkill. It's our belief that those 3 are connected. I would restrict any further release of information that might hinder our investigation, but we are following up on several credible leads at this time. I would ask the people of East Fishkill to please call us directly at 221-2111 if they observe any suspicious, out-of-place vehicles or individuals in their neighborhood. And I would ask that it's imperative that you call us immediately. And we'll come over and say hi.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Also, I'd just like to mention today, like Councilman Bepan said, today is National Law Enforcement Day. Congratulations. You guys do a wonderful job. Also, snow is coming, I'm sure, hopefully not too much. One day, maybe, before the end of the winter. Clean off your cars, please. It's important to clean off your cars because that could cause many accidents with the snow falling from your vehicle onto other vehicles. Also, I'd like to congratulate as well all our elected officials, especially our deputy supervisor here. He is the longest-serving public official in East Fishkill history.
Does that mean he gets to retire soon?
Yes, you get extra, you get to sign the checks when I'm not here. So, that's good, Peter, say. Our next town board meeting is February 13th, 2020. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Point out that location.
Oh, yes, that's right. So, for the month of February, we will not be having anything in this room. They will be renovating it. So our town board meeting in February, on February 13th, will be at the Fire District Headquarters on Route 52. They were gracious enough, the Fire District Commissioners, to allow us to use that room. So unfortunately, it will not be aired live. It can stream, but it will be filmed and taped and put on Channel 22 to play immediately after. But that is February 13th, 2020, and we'll be at the Fire District Headquarters. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Don't move.
Of a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion- Meeting adjourned. Thank you.